Hello my friends and welcome to another really cool color grading tutorial in DaVinci Resolve. And today, by your special request, we're going to be doing the look of the Tenet. So let's jump in DaVinci Resolve and I'm going to show you how to do that. Before we start, special thank you to ArtGrid for providing this fantastic footage, making this tutorial possible. Be sure to check out their links in the description below, and if you sign up using one of those links, you will get 2 extra months on your subscription. So today we're going to be doing the Tenet look, and over here I have a sample still image that we basically going to be matching our grade to. And it's going to be very simple and straightforward. The first thing we're going to do is to convert this node into parallel layer. Essentially, the first step going to be exposure. exp, and I'm going to try to match the exposure to a tenet. So again, let's click really quick to our source footage, and we can see that a lot of it happens sort of between 256 and 512. So that's sort of like a lower midtone. So we're going to match the same thing. We can also notice that the blacks are very separate from the midtones and they sort of drop down to create that interesting contrast. So I'm going to try to match all that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to add a little bit of highlights. I'm going to bring everything down just like that. And with the log, I'm just gonna drop a little bit of blacks down. That way we have a nice crunchy look, just like in the Tenet over here. One thing we can observe, and it's very interesting when you create looks like that the white color actually white, and the black beard and the shadow is actually black. So keep that in mind when you create your own look. It's very important. We're gonna come back to that in a little bit. The next node, I'm going to do saturation. We're going to give a nice saturated feel to it. Okay, I'm going to crank all the way up. Okay, so that looks good. Let's do another node. And this one I'm going to call pre-look. What I mean by that our tenet is sort of green and teal, and our image is a little bit warm. So what I'm going to do, I'm gonna use midtones, or probably, actually, yeah, the midtones is good. And just to navigate this slightly towards a little neutral image, where the skin looks nice and our image have very interesting look. So let's check that out, before and after. Okay, I like that so far. I think it looks good. Let's organize that, and now we're gonna create a new node, and we're gonna call this one generally a look. Okay, what I'm going to do here, I'm going to use temperature and tint. And with the temperature, I'm going to make it, again, a little bit warmer. And with the tint, I'm going to dial down a little bit. Now, let's compare and see where we're standing. Huge difference, but we're going to get there. So, something like this. And with the tint, maybe something like that. Okay, so it started looking pretty good. However, I noticed that my contrast is a little bit different than what we have here. Over here it looks nice and crunchy. I have a little bit washed out. So what to do? Because I'm already have my look going on and I don't want to add the contrast to look. Well, I can actually create a new node, and if I'm going to push and hold control, I can swap them. So that's really cool. Now I can do my contrast node ahead of it and just crank it up just a tiny bit, so we have that nice rich look going on. So again, let's compare it. Okay, looks perfect. We actually kind of getting there. All right, now the interesting thing with the look, let's see, let's go back again. Not enough, we can do a little bit more. We can do look a little bit more aggressive. Let's see, so something like that, and with the mid-tone we can probably do something like that. I think like that looks pretty close. However, look what happened. We started affecting highlights, blacks, and the skin tone, so that's not good. What we're gonna do, by using qualifier, I'm gonna limit my exposure. I'm gonna limit my look. So I'm gonna use luma value, and I'm gonna go to the highlight, and with the highlight I'm gonna go all the way up so we can see that the dark area gonna be covered. We do a little softening of that, and the same thing I'm gonna do with the highlights. I want to make sure I'm protecting the brightest part of the image. And again, let's give it a nice soft look. A little bit of blur, clean black a little bit, and a little bit clean white. Let's play it back. No dancing noise. Selection is clean. So that looks really cool. However, the skin is still a mess. What can I do? So let's convert this into the layer node. And with the layer node, let's do our mixing to color. Okay. And now if I'm gonna go to this bottom node, I can select skin tones. Okay, just like that. And I want to make sure that our skin is nicely covered, is nice and soft. Okay, again, we're going to add a little bit of blur, a little bit of clean black, and a little bit of clean white. Let's play it back a little bit, and it looks great. So now let's see. Still looks a little bit awkward. It has that amateur look to it. What we can do is to actually dial back a little bit of saturation. Okay, and if we're gonna go into selection, make it a little bit more. Let's see, so something like that. Something like that over here. Okay, perfect. Now let's work on the skin. Let's take a look at our TENET guy. Okay, our skin still looks a little bit weird, a little bit too saturated. So let's make sure we desaturate a little bit and go to our vector scope. Okay, and probably do a little bit like that. Okay, let's see. We're gonna zoom in a little bit closer. Okay, let's toggle before and after. Before and after. Okay, so skin looks good, but what about hair? That looks ridiculous. Well, we're gonna fix that too. So with a little bit of extra selection, we're gonna go like that. Now we have all that creative control. Let's see what we can do. We need to make sure that we have a nice finesse selection. So something like that. And then like that would be good. Make it a little bit wider. Okay, looks perfect. Let's see. Now it looks a little bit pale. So how we fix that? We can do a little bit like that adjustments. Okay, let's bring it all back. And let's see. And now we can blend everything together. So let's do create compound. Let's toggle that compound node. Okay. Now I'm gonna dial everything back because it's very extreme. Okay. And by dialing it back, we're gonna do something like that. And I'm gonna do another node. And now we're gonna continue giving it a further look without affecting too much of a hair or anything like that. So again, we're gonna go temperature like that. Let's see, a little bit green. Okay, we're gonna little by little start refining it. Okay, let's see. I want to make sure that the skin tones look correct when we do all those adjustments. Very important. Okay, so skin tones look great now. And let's compare it to a TENET. So we pretty much have the same effect going on. However, here in the highlights, it's a little bit warm. So let's do this one. We're gonna call refined. This one we're gonna do 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 do. This one we're gonna call yellowish. And in order to do that, we're just gonna use curve a little bit more, and then we're gonna go into Luma versus saturation, just like that. And I'm going to completely desaturate the whites. Okay, and now let's see how that looks. Looks really good, and possibly we can add a little bit of glow, because a lot of times this was shot using anamorphic lens. I can tell right away how curved the image is. So let's do another node. We're gonna do glow. Okay, just like that. Not too much. Let's see, not too much. A little bit. Brightness. I don't want to make sure we're not gonna clip anything. And we can see that we're actually clipping it over here. Like that. Spread a little more. There we go. So let's toggle before and after. Okay, that looks great. And that's our look. And let's see how well it applies to this image. So far these look really good. And then boom, that's our look. All right. Thank you for watching. That was super easy. Be sure to subscribe, comment below, and I'll see ya in the other videos. Take care.